What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm actually going to pull up a chart and I'm going to show how I mark my chart on each time frame. Alright, so what I'm looking for, if I was to get into the market and I wanted to buy a certain stock, or even if I was to be trading stock options, what I'm doing, just going to mark my chart and to see the area that I will actually get in. And I am going to show where I will wait before I get in as well. So I'm not going to show as far as like the entries, the stop loss, or the take profit points. It's just more so of how I actually do my charting. Now, the reason I'm doing this is also really for myself to show accountability. That way I can come back and look at the look at old videos and see the progress that I've made, and if I've made any changes to what I was doing before. Right now I'm in the mode of working on my patience because I am one of those people who can be impatient, or has been impatient, when it comes to the stock market, with the fact that, hey, you know that you can get a lot of money from the market, and I've seen it, I've done it, but I've had more losses than I've had wins because I didn't do risk management, or I didn't really like study the charts per se, like I really should have been, like, to really get a better understanding as to why I'm marking up certain areas. So I'm in that mode right now where I'm just like, you know what, get accountability, make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and when you're supposed to be doing it, and that you're not jumping the gun getting into the market as far as trying to buy stocks at the wrong price and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm actually going to share my screen and we're going to get to it. So here we go. So again, I'm doing SPY, and we're going to get started. So what I normally do is I would go to my 12-month time frame, and I don't really do anything with the 12-month time frame except to draw the all-time high. I just mark the all-time high, and I'm going to do that in red because I use this as a resistance point right here. So all-time high, and that's all thing I look at the 12-month for. You know, and obviously when you go through each of the time frames, you're going to end up looking at the trend as well. But I don't really look at the trend on the 12-month for the most part. I just want to see what the all-time high was. All right, but either way, we do see is an uptrend. All right, so then I drop down to the month, and for the month, each of these candles represents 1 month of trading activity. So what I do is I go to the previous month, not the month we're in now because the month is still going on. I go to the previous month, and then I also mark the month high and I mark the month low. And I normally put these in orange. I just do it orange because I like using orange for my month. And do the same thing for the low. Alright. Then again, I will zoom out and see what the trend is anyway, because I'm already on here. So again, we still see it's an uptrend right now. Then I go to the week, and what I do for the week, do the same thing. Each of these candles again is 1 week's worth of activity, and I do the same thing. I do the previous week's high, and I normally mark that in purple, and I do the previous week's low, again purple as well. Then I zoom out and just see what the trend is. I can still see that the trend is still bullish. Now I'm going to come back to the week because I'm going to do more work on it, but I like marking up my highs and lows first for all the time frames that I use. So then I'm going to drop down to the daily. Again, daily time frame, I'm looking to see what is the previous day's high and what is the previous day's low. And I mark that. Let me make sure I get I want to make sure that it's on here. I can tell the way I put it, it wasn't on here as I wanted it. And do the same thing up here. So I'm going to double check. There we go. Alright, so then same thing again with the day. I look and see like what's the trend for the day. And I can see that the day is pulling down. But right now we don't care about that, and here's why. Because we're going to go back to the weekly trend, like I said. And again, I'm seeing that right now the week is trending bullish right now. All right, so what I end up doing is I take my fib, take my draw fib, and I'm going to draw a fib. Since I know that we're in an uptrend, I'm going to draw the fib from the swing low, which is the bottom of this here, up to the swing high, basically the highest point that it got to. Bam. So I marked it. So then what I do is I want to look for an area where I can consider buying or placing an order or a trade into SPY, right? So what I end up doing is I look at the 61.8% level and I look at the 50% level. These levels right here or in between, they're likely, I'm not saying that it will do, but they're likely to have a effect on the price. So it could, price could retrace or reject this area right here, but it's normally a good area right here to place your buy zone. So what I do is I take my 61% level and my 50% level and I draw me a buy zone right here. And then I'm going to label it buy zone. Normally I would put just weekly buy zone, but because I know what it is, I just put that's my buy zone. This is the area right here that, hey, I want to place an order within for SPY, right? Now, then what I end up doing is I also look for an area where there was an order block, and the order blocks, that's where institutions come in and they basically place their orders there, and you will see like an impulsive move to the upside since we're talking about going bullish. And just where you'll see a normally like a long candle, and you can see it right here. See this long candle right here? That's the impulsive move. The move right before that is where the order block, where they have a lot of orders right here. So what I would do now is go ahead and draw me another area. I draw it from the top of this wick to the bottom of this wick here. Excuse me. And then I just change the color for myself. I'm gonna do like a little yellowish type color. And this right here becomes my origin. Let me do it here. I'll type it here. This right here becomes my origin order block. This is the area or the block that caused the impulsive move, this impulsive move right here to the upside. And because I know that I'm going to be going in between time frames, what I do, so I can make sure I know that I'm still in the uptrend or bullish, I take my line here, put it there, and I'm turn this pink for myself, and I just put a note right here for myself. I know that, hey, on the weekly we are trending up, so I put like a weekly-ish bullish trend. That way I know if I'm going through my time frames, I know like this is what you're looking for. So we're on a weekly bullish trend. Then what I put like next to it, I might do like a break and close or retest the same area. Break and close retest to, oops, hold on, over here. Break, close, retest for bearish move, or I may do like a change of character. So change of character, and I'll talk about that another time. So I mean change of character, like, let me hit OK. So if price ends, now don't forget we're going bullish, so if price ends up breaking this line right here, this level right here, then that means, hey, there's a possibility that price is now going bearish, right? Down, so a downtrend. But right now, as long as price stays above this level right here, we are in an uptrend, okay? And then what I end up doing, right? Notice how I said that I placed this as my buy zone. But notice that by the time I end up looking at this chart, that the buy zone, that prices already went through the buy zone. So what I end up doing, just in case, hey, where else can I put a buy zone at. So my next buy zone, I can say it could be from this 38.2% down to this 23.6%. So what I would end up doing is I would go ahead and just draw me another buy zone. And it's basically, again, just an area for me to say, hey, I missed that first opportunity. This is a second opportunity. So what I do is go ahead and change this to green as well. And I put a note right here. Excuse me. And I might put buy zone number 2 or buying opportunity number 2. I'm going to put buying opportunity number 2. Alright, so now I have a chance to get even a deeper discount. Right? Because when you're doing these buy zones, you're looking for discounted areas where you can purchase that stock or ETF, whatever it is that you're doing. And since I missed that area, you know what? This here is a perfect opportunity for me to purchase another stock or share, should I say. So after I do my week, again, we're weekly, it's bullish. What I do next is I drop down to my day time frame. So my day time frame, I'm just going to refine what I saw on the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame was more so for me to analyze, like my areas where I want to buy. Now my daily is going to tell me, give me more information about where I want to do. So my daily, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see, can I find another order block? I'm not going to try to find a buy zone because we already have our buying opportunity since we're going using the weekly time frame. Okay, so we're not going to look for a buying opportunity. I'm going to look for another order block, right, to refine that move. Now you will notice if you're looking at this, when you're first looking at it, you're going to assume, and I have assumed several times, many times before, that the daily is actually bearish. What it is, the daily leg is bearish, but we have to remember that we are overall bullish. Okay, so this is nothing but a pullback, and right now you can see it's a deep pullback right now. So right now I don't know when this leg right here is going to stop. It may keep going down, but in the meantime, let's find an area where there was an impulsive move, and I can see my area already. And when I say impulsive move, the impulsive move, it has to break structure. Okay, so as an example, we see price, the furthest went down on this leg right here. It went down here. So we want to find the area, like what caused this area right here, or what caused this break of structure here. So I can see right here already, I see a impulse move right here at the 886 level. So what I do now is I go ahead, I take my square again, and I'm going to draw another order block. I want to move it over because I want to make sure it's right on top of it. Alright, so the order blocks, let me change that color. Like I said, this is my color for my order blocks. Then I put a note right here. Then I put daily order block. Or I might just put daily OB. Again, that way I don't get myself confused about what's going on. Okay. Then what I also look for, I try to look for if there are any imbalances along the way. The imbalances, they can occur when you sometimes have the impulsive moves, and they will basically leave gaps in the market, right? So as an example, I see one here, but we're not going to draw it. I'm going to show it, but we're not going to draw it and leave it there because I can see now that move has already taken place. So if you look right here, you can see where price had an impulsive move, went from here all the way down here and left a gap. So as an example, let me show it here. So these were basically unfilled orders right here. They didn't have time to fill the orders. It left a gap. And I know I'm going to turn this like a pinkish color, like a hot pink. Alright. So the reason I'm going to erase it now, because you can see the imbalance has already been filled by this candle right here. You see it? This candle right here has already filled this imbalance. But had this candle not filled this imbalance, we would have had an area where we can say, oh, price is going to come back up to these areas right here. Because we have an imbalance, you want to fill those gaps, right? So it makes natural sense that price will revert eventually to these areas. A lot of times it's not guaranteed, but you know, it can be highly likely that it will come back up to these areas. But because it's already been filled, I don't want to clutter my chart, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Okay, let's delete that. So the only thing we can do right now for the daily order block or for the daily chart is mark the daily order block. Because again, I come to this chart to look for order blocks and to look for possible imbalances. So then what I do next is I drop down to the 1 hour chart. All right, finally. So now we're on the 1 hour chart. And I see more volume, a lot more noise here. So here's what we're going to do now. So for the 1 hour, normally what I would do here, I would call this more so the execution. Remember the month, I had it to analyze. The week, we did refinement. The 1 hour, we're looking for refinement as well, but we're trying to get precise, like where is an area that I would actually get into now to actually make this purchase now. Again, we're looking more so for precision. So for the 1 hour, I look for order blocks as well, and I look for imbalances. And the goal is to try to find the order blocks that's as close to the current price as possible. So here's the good example right now. We see a imbalance right now. When I said imbalance, where there's a gap in between. You see here? There's a gap in between here. So I will go ahead and mark that gap here. Down here, I'm going to move it over to make sure it aligns up. And for the text box, I would normally go ahead and put, we're on a 1 hour time frame, so 1 hour imbalance. Sometimes I put gap, imbalance, and everything, or fair value gap. It's all the same. Everybody calls it something different. So this is my area right here for my 1 hour imbalance, okay? And then I want to look for an area where there was an impulsive move or the order block. You can see right now because the market is open right now. This right here, see this one candle right here? It's a long candle. And that's coming down right now. And you're already in, it's already in my zone right now as well to be buying. So that's pretty cool. Now, with that being said, the order block that we had one that came all the way down. Well, I don't want to say the word order block. Now I see an area already, another area already too. But we see where structure, should I say, was broken and price pushed down here, right? But right now on the 1 hour time frame, this is the current leg. The current leg has not pushed past this yet or closed. So more than likely your order block is going to be, your first order block is going to be in this area right here. And sometimes you may not see an order block. And also keep in mind the order block, it must be the opposite color of the impulsive candle. Now I'm going to see, do I see an order block? Now admittedly I see one forming. However, it depends already because other order blocks that we may have had have already been mitigated. But I can see right now there's an order block that started here. But I can't use the order block. You know why? Because it still has not broken this structure right here. I see an order block forming right here. Let me blow it up so you can see it better. Because I know these colors look crazy. I got it. You can see right now where price pushed down here. It went past this little lower low right here. But it pushed down. Then it came back up. And then it's trying to push down again. So we're trying to see, can we get this here to close below this low right here. And the deeper it is, the deeper discount I can get as we look at a way to go back bullish. And again, we're trying to see if the current leg, how long it's going to go. Because right now we're still on a deep pullback. Okay. Now here's the neat thing that we can look at right now. Watch this. Notice we're already inside Matter of fact, let me go back to the daily or the weekly. The way we can see it all. See what I'm looking at. There we go. Remember I said that this is the weekly trend bar. Hold on, let me do something here. There we go. So notice I said this is our weekly bullish trend right here. Okay, price is going up, so we're bullish right now. Unless price breaks this area right here, then we're gonna stay bullish. If it breaks and does a retest, meaning I'll break, I'll come back up, and we'll continue downward, then we will officially be bearish. So that's why I said we can't get confused when, again, I'm looking at this leg right now, and I may say, oh, we're bearish right now because it's coming down. If you didn't break this here, this low here, we're still bullish, okay? But, again, like I said, we're inside of our origin order block. Like, this is the block that started off from this impulse move right here. Remember, this is the impulse move. So, I'm not saying that it has to happen, but because the origin, the order blocks, that's where institutional traders are. They are the ones that's making these bigger moves for these setups. So their goal obviously is to fill the rest of these orders. There are a lot of different orders in here. You may have stop losses in here, take profit points and whatnot. But again, you have a lot of different orders in here. So the expectation is for a price to come down and fill the rest of these orders right here. So it's one reason I would not get into the market yet. Plus, we also want to look for confirmation, right? So you still have to look for another bullish pattern or a candlestick pattern for me to say, you know what, I might want to get into here. And then you still have to look for, excuse me, a break retest and whatnot, okay? So again, we're in the origin order block. Then we're still in our buying zone right here. This is our buying opportunity number 2 right here, okay? And you have a gap right inside of the order block and right above this buying opportunity right here, right above this zone. Plus, if you look, we're at our daily low right here. So price is already past our daily low, and now it's inching towards our weekly low at this higher time frame. So, so for the most part, price wants to target your higher time frame first. Of course, like the higher time frame is, that's when price wants to target those areas right here. Same thing with the order blocks and stuff and whatnot. Okay, so that's what I like about this zone right here. So I'm in the point right now where, and matter of fact, let me say this because we want to talk about the order of precedence. Okay, so what matters most? Because look, price is inside of all of my areas right here. Right, you have our order block. Again, you see your buying opportunity right here. So you're already in my zone right here. And you're already in an imbalance, right? You're in an imbalance zone. You know, it's on the 1 hour. Let me drop down to 1 hour as a matter of fact. Okay? So what's the order of precedence? Excuse me. So order of precedence is the buying zone. So my buying opportunity number 2. Excuse me. We want price to do its thing in here, right? And like form these bullish patterns so I can go ahead and know an area that I want to get in. Then what comes second is your order blocks. The order blocks is second priority because price may not fill this entire order block right here. Okay, it may not fill it. You never know. So I can say, you know what, it may not fill it. Let me try to get into it and get into the market while price is in my buy opportunity number 2 zone. Okay, and then again, price wants to go and fulfill the other orders, or should I say orders that it should have picked up, but we left this gap right here. So you want price to come back to this imbalance right here and fill this. So now I'm looking like, oh, you know what, let me find my bullish pattern here, and then get into the market and let it ride it back up until we get into this zone, our imbalance. Let it ride back up until I find whatever take profit area that I want to use. Okay, and that's what we're waiting for. I'm just waiting on price to show me, like, what are you going to do right now? Are you going to form another bullish pattern? And because you're not going to break this structure right here and keep going back up, or are you going to break this structure right here and keep going down and keep going deeper and deeper. We don't know yet right now. So because I already have my areas marked, then that's what I want to do. All right. So again, that is how I do my analyzing. Again, I will go back to the 12-month right quick. I don't have to do this. I just like doing this as far as marking my all-time high. It just lets me know what's the highest price it's ever gotten to, okay? Again, I drop down to my month and I mark my previous month's high and mark my previous month's low. Then I drop down to the week. On the week, again, I mark my previous month high. I'm sorry, previous week high and my previous week low right here. That's a long week right here too, okay? On the day, I mark the previous day high and the previous day low. That's the order I always do it in. Then I go back to my week. And some people might say, how come you don't just do everything that you need to do in your week? Just purposes. This is how I feel comfortable right now. I may change it one day and do it out of order, but it's how I feel comfortable doing so. Okay? And again, I go back to my week because we've already did our week high, week low. And I look for an area where I can buy it. And again, the 61.8 and 50% zone, whatever. Price loves this area right here. Okay? And it's highly likely that it's going to come here and do some reactions here. So I go ahead and mark the area where I want to buy it. So I'm saying, hey, I want to get in at roughly at that time around 673, 679. Now, suppose I had gotten into this trade here, or in this area, within this area, it's not saying I was wrong because by my calculations and me marking my chart, I'm right. However, price decided to say, you know what? We want to go even deeper. It doesn't mean I was wrong. So then I say, okay, well, since price decided it wants to come down some more, let me see another area that I can get into. And I found that, oh, there's another area right here that I can get into. And then if you look even more, this is your 100% level right here. Wait, it's 100%. No, this is a 0% level right here. So if price decides that it wants to keep coming down, here's another area right here that we can possibly get into an even deeper discount. Because again, right now, we don't know what price wants to do. I don't know if it wants to, or how far it's going to come down before it finally says, okay, we're done. I'm going to bring my butt back up here and continue on this bullish trend. We don't know that, okay? So like I said, those are the areas that I look at. And then I drop out my origin order block to find what move made this high right here. And this is the counter right here that pushed price all the way up here. See this long counter here. You know, counter before that. Remember, it has to be an opposite color. So that's my my red candlestick right here. And I go ahead and draw me an order block. Again, because the order block, that's where institutions are. That's where the impulsive move was made to the upside. And this is where a lot of unfulfilled orders are as well, okay? And a lot of people's stop losses are here as well, okay? So that's why we marked that. Then, like I said, I would drop down to the day because now you want even more precision, okay? So the only thing I found for the day right now was just a daily, I would say daily outbreak, but daily order block. It's the only thing I found so far for this area right here. So a lot of times you still have to go back and you can refine some more, okay? So I come back down here, and one thing I can show, well, let me stay on topic first. Because there's another thing I could do as well. But I'm going to drop back down to the 1 hour right quick. So on the 1 hour, you're looking for an even more precise area where I can possibly buy as well, okay? So again, we marked we found an imbalance here. So we're expecting for price to come back up to this area. We're expecting it. I mean it will, okay? Keep that in mind. Because again, like I said before, it could keep right past this bullish trend, our level right here, and keep coming down. We don't know that, okay? But we're in those areas right here. And remember, I told you, it depends on where this right here stops at. There's a possibility for another order block here. To this small candle, this long candle right here, I can draw an order block right here, but I cannot draw it just yet unless unless this candle right here it falls or have another break of structure and goes below this candle right here, okay? Then the other thing I can do as well, sometimes what I do, so remember I said on the daily, let's go back to the daily. On the daily, I said, well, I didn't find another order block. And notice the order block, this order block is all the way up here, okay? So right now, it'll be a while before price even comes back up this way. So what I can do, sometimes when I can't find the order block, and sometimes where you see like where this gap is right here, I can find the order block in here. Here's how. I will switch over to the Heikin Ashi candles. And I can find the order block. Now, I know the Heikin Ashi candles, that's where price was. But sometimes you can use those areas right there to find like, hold up, to see where an order block was formed a lot of times as well. So I'm looking. Now, I kind of see one here, an order block. See this small candle right here? There was an impulsive move to the downside, which caused another break of structure. So I can mark this area right here. But in the meantime, at the same time, it may not count anymore because price has already done passed here. But I could have done that had I caught it in time as well. So we could have did an order block here. And I'm going to change that color. And I'm going to call that another daily order block. The order block that you see right above, the one I'm typing in, this one up here, right now it's obsolete because price is down here right now. So we don't care about this one up here. Maybe later on down the line, we will care about it. And notice how, at the same time, right, we was already in the buy zone. Did I change? Yeah, I changed the color already. We was already in our buy zone. Then we had again, another daily order right here, order block. Then we was already at a higher time frame and a lower time frame. We was already at their highs already. Well, actually, this one right here, the orange, which is my monthly, that's a month low right there. Let me double check that. Yeah, this right here was the month low, and this right here was the day high. So we was already in these areas right here. So again, had we got into, or had I said we, like we all right here together or something. But had I gotten into the market around this area right here, again, I would not have been wrong. But price decided to say, you know what, I'm going to keep coming down, okay? So this still is another area right now because this area right here is still not mitigated because price still did not react to this area. Once price reacts to the area, then I can say, well, let me take that back. Price did it kept coming down, but right now, could I have go ahead and just get rid of this zone right here? I could, because again, prices already went past that level, and now we're in a whole different area right here. So yeah, I could turn around and go ahead and delete this area right here. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. At least I hope you do. Going back to the 1 hour. Let me switch it back to our regular candles because these are Heikin Ashi candles. I should change my candle so I'm messing around and confusing myself. That's what I should do. Okay? But this is where we're at. So I'm going to show my beautiful self again. Alright, so again, that is how I mark my charts. And it's just so how I can stay accountable as well. And come back and look at these moves. And just do like a replay and see, hey, where am I at now? On this date and time, this the chart that I marked up, this is what the candle was at that time. Now, it may be 2-3 days later. Let's see what happened with price. Anything that I talked about, did it work out? So that's good for me to come back and just see, like, okay, was I in the right direction? Okay. So with that being said, that was my markup of SPY. And yeah, I'm ending this video. Alright. Anyway, if you came across this video, which I hope you did, hope you checked it out, consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you see, because I will be having more as well. And that's it. I'm out. Bye.